Hello Stampers, I've got a fun little card for you today, and I decided to use my polar bear from the Beary cute stamp set. You know, we all see these as polar bears, but they could be black bears, brown bears, whatever. So I decided to use one, and I like this little guy who's sitting down, and so I decided to use him as a brown bear. And I did something fun. I decided to pull in the autumn leaf stamp set with this. Now don't look at all the gold paint all over my stamp set. Like I said, I'm keeping this real. I have paint all over mine. But this is a beautiful set, and they go together so cute for an autumn card. Instead of just using him for winter, there he is in autumn. So I'm going to be using these two stamp sets, and then I wanted to tell you I'm using the color cube from SarahReneeClark.com, and I have volume 1 of the color cube. And what the color cube is, it's a cube of cards, and they have color combinations. And so today I picked this color combination out, and I'm going to be using it. And here's the color cube. It's just a really cute box, and it's full of 150 color combinations. So check that out. I'll put a link below. I'm not associated with Sarah Renee Clark at all, but I just love this color cube, and so I just thought I'd share it with you. So I'll be using this color combination, and what I did with this card, this is 110 out of her box, and I decided to use this color combination. I used Old Olive, Blackberry Bliss for this color here. Let's see, we got Crumb Cake for our tan color. My ink pad looks kind of greenish, but it actually is a tan color. And then I used Cherry Cobbler for this reddish color, and Pecan Pie for this. Now you could use Cajun Craze for this color too, but I wanted a nice brown for my bear. Now, you don't have to use this color combination exactly. You can do variances of colors, and you can use maybe 3 colors, 4 colors, whatever, but it's a bouncing board just to get you going, get that mind working. So I was just tickled pink the way this card came out with this color combination for the leaves especially, and to give me the ideal to make this a brown bear instead of a polar bear. So I just thought it was just a fun way to start a card. And so I'm going to get going on our card today, and I'm going to start with our background. Now this is a basic white panel, and it's 3 5/8 by 4.5. You can get all the dimensions for this card down below this video. Just click show more and you'll see it there along with all the product links. I'm going to start with our background first. And I'm going to bring in just a sky color, and Balmy Blue is a great little sky color, and we're going to just do direct to paper today. And I'm just taking the edge of my ink pad, and I'm going to tilt it, because you don't want to have it flat, else you'll have a blob of color there. And I'm going to tilt it and just make some light colors coming across here. There's our sky. So that was Balmy Blue. And then I want to bring in that tan, which is Crumb Cake. And I'm going to do that same thing, and I'm going to drag this across the bottom here. So there is our tan, which is Crumb Cake. And then I'm going to bring in some Old Olive. And I'm going to lightly bring this in, not covering up all that tan. I want the scene to look like it goes on for a while. So I have 2 colors here. Okay, so now I'm going to start with our leaves. Now this is a simple scene here. So I think I'm going to go ahead and start. I'm going to stamp my green leaves first. And I decided to use this leaf set. Now there's 2 leaves in this set here, and so that's what I'm going to be using for our leaves today out of that autumn leaves stamp set. And I love that these leaves stamp in 2-tone. So I'm just going to stamp some of these green leaves up here, and just you know, bringing in hints of them because we got lots of leaves to add. So there is our old olive leaves. I'm just going to clean my stamp here, and we're going to go to a different color. Let's do cherry cobbler now. Like I said, I just love this combination, this cherry cobbler and that Blackberry Bliss up here. Who knew? So there's some cherry cobbler. Maybe we'll put one more right here. Now I just want to kind of frame the top of this out. And let's get some Blackberry Bliss leaves going. Just going to kind of wipe my stamp off there on my scrap paper. And I'm going to add some of these. They come out almost black looking, but they do dry to that nice purpley color. And I'm going to clean this off again. And I think I just want a couple leaves a little lower. And I think I'm going to make them old olive. I think I'm just going to bring some right there. Okay, so there's my leaves. I just want some veins going on my leaves. And these, the veins are separate stamp in this set. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp them in Blackberry Bliss. And here's the veins, and it's so easy to stamp the veins on these leaves because they line right up. Give them a stamp there. And these are going to show up better on the lighter leaves, of course. So I'm not going to stamp them on the Blackberry Bliss ones, but I can the cherry cobbler and the old olive. There we go. Pretty, pretty leaves. Okay. Now I'm going to put that aside. And let's see, I want some cherry cobbler dots on the bottom. Now I have this little dotted stamp, and it is from the Beary Cute stamp set. It's this little dotted stamp right here. And I'm just going to use this as, with our cherry cobbler ink, as little leaves on the ground. So I'm just going to repeatedly stamp this. All in that little green area at the bottom there. Just like the leaves have fallen, and he's kind of just sitting on the ground where there's leaves all on the ground. Okay, so we got that. And I think it's time for our bear. So let's go ahead and stamp our bear. I have a scrap piece of basic white here, and we're going to use Stays on Black to stamp our bear. He's so cute the way he's sitting. I'm just going to give him a stamp there. Peel him off there. And then I want to stamp his scarf. And I'm going to stamp his scarf. I'm going to bring in that Blackberry Bliss, tie it in a little bit more to our scene. We'll stamp his little scarf with that. Just stamp it right there. Again, it looks so dark when you first stamp it, but boy, it turns out just the prettiest purple when it dries out. So now it's time to color our bear, and this is where our pecan pie comes in. That color from our card that we use for this color, we're going to use pecan pie. And I'm going to start with a light pecan pie Stampin' Blend marker to color our cute little bear. And you don't have to worry about coloring outside the lines with him because we're going to cut him out. And I'm just giving him a quick color. I love these Stampin' Blends because you don't have to worry about your lines showing up in your coloring. Here we go. There's our cute little bear. Here's the light color. Now I want some shadow going on with my bear, and so this is the dark pecan pie. And I'm going to make a dark line all the way down from his nose, all the way down the front of that leg. and his chest. Now this leg here, I'm going to add some at the bottom. I'm going to color along this line here and that foot. I'm going to color that foot and his rump there. And that just gives a little shadow to him. And that is going to blend out. You'll see. So I'm just going to cut these images out real quick. They're super simple to cut out. So while I have most of my image here, it's easier to cut out the fine details first and then do the outside part. And also when you're using your scissors and you have a line, use the whole blade of your scissors and turn the paper. That way you don't get such a choppy look to your image. So there's his little scarf. Got it all done already. And this is what I mean by using the whole blade of your scissors. By just going around and moving your cardstock instead of just chop, chop, chop with your scissors. You get a little better cut that way. It's not so choppy looking. Oh, look at that bear. He's just so cute. Okay, there we go. And if you find that you have a little white around the edges, you can always go back with your marker and just color the edge so that doesn't show up. And you can just run the edge of your marker along it. He's just darling, isn't he? So let's add his little scarf to him. I'm just going to use some multi-purpose glue here. And add his little scarf. Now this scarf fits this bear and the bear that's standing up. So it fits both bears in the set. Cute, cute. Okay, so I'm going to set this aside for just a minute, and I'm going to bring in an old olive marker. Now I have my little bear here, and I want to shadow cast for him. So I'm just going to take the brush end of the dark old olive, and where I want him setting at, I'm going to go ahead and just make a line out here and a little squiggly down. That'll be his little shadow. And then when he's sitting there, see how cute that is, that he's casting a shadow? That just gives you some depth in your scene. So I'm going to go ahead and add him in the scene now. It's amazing what a little squiggle of color will do for you. And I made it just as wide as he is. You know, his foot comes out here a little ways. And there he is, super cute. And he's just pondering how thankful he is for this season. So now for our sentiment, I'm going to use a piece of vellum for this. And this piece of vellum is 3/4 of an inch by 3 5/8 wide. And I'm going to stamp with StazOn with this. StazOn is the best thing to stamp on vellum with, in my opinion. So I'm going to get my sentiment here. I'm going to load my sentiment, and this says, I'm thankful. And this comes out of the Autumn Leaves stamp set. I'm going to kind of flatten this out. I need to see where I'm going to stamp at. Let's see here. Try to get this in the center. Here we go. And that didn't work really well. I waited too long. So there is our sentiment, and I love doing sentiments on vellum, especially when you have a scene going on. Because when you put it on your scene, you can still see those colors behind there. And so I'm going to trim this up just a bit. It's a bit too wide. So I'm just going to give it a little trim on the sides here when I have it centered. There we go. Better too long than too short, right? So we have that, and I just want some mini glue dots here to hold this down. And you got to be strategic on where you put your glue dots to put your vellum on. I'm going to put it right at the edge on each side, just one dot. That one stuck to my finger. Didn't want to stick to the cardstock. Here we go. Let's do that again. So I have a glue dot on each side, and then I'm going to put my sentiment here. And I want it pretty close to the top so I'm not covering all of my leaves up. I'm just laying it on there, and I'll give it a look to see if that's where I want it, and that looks good. So see how you can see those dots through the vellum. So to take care of that, I decided to get decorative with that, and so I punched out a 3/4 inch circle out of old olive, and I'm just going to cut that circle in half, and I'm going to add a little bit of Stampin' Seal on here. So here is one side, and I'm going to just put it along there. And that covers that dot up, but it looks like it's holding the whole thing on. So you just have to make sure you're putting your Stampin' Seal on the right side of it. Get this going here. You don't see me using tape runner very often, do you? Okay. So my little challenge, I love my glue. So there that is, and that covers that up, and it looks great. So now we're ready to start putting our card together. I do have an inside panel, and I think I'm going to get a little decorative with it too. I'm going to grab my old olive. I'm just going to stamp those leaves in the bottom corner. Just like that, just a little something there. That was old olive, and then I'm going to stamp the veins also. And I'm going to use that Blackberry Bliss again. Now, I don't have a sentiment that I want to put in yet. I'm not sure who I'm sending this card to, as usual. But there is the inside of my card done. And this inside piece is this inside piece is 3 5/8 by 4.5, and that's the same size as what is inside the card there. So here it is. I've already got it in. And just that little something just gives it a nice look. So there's the front of our card, and let's go ahead and put this together. I'm going to go ahead and adhere this panel to an old olive base. And then to the Blackberry Bliss. Now this panel here, this old olive, is 3 3/4 by 4 5/8. Then I'm going to add my Blackberry Bliss panel to the front of my card. This Blackberry Bliss panel is 4 by 5 1/4. Add this guy on here. And now I just want a little bling bling, I think. So I'm going to go ahead and add some of these brush metallic adhesive back dots. And I'm going to use this it kind of looks like a greenish color. I'll just use my scissor ends here. Grab these up. Just add one on each of those, half of those circles, just to kind of finish it off. And there is our card. I hope you enjoyed this project. It's a lot of fun, a different color combination. Here's the original. Thanks for joining me today. Take care. Toodles.